Hi, this is Bradley Vincent of Bradley Teaches, and today we're going to do something a little special with our subdued weight screens. We're going to add some trivia, so stay tuned. So now let's go into Keynote, and we're going to make this thing happen. Now, this is the scene that I built my trivia on top of, and it's kind of just, remember last week we did the more subdued weight screen, right? So I was going to take that as a first step and build on top of it. And so I was going to get my old weight screen and build on top of it, right? So, but I'm going to show you from 0 to done. But this is just my weight screen, and I'm going to leave it here for now, and I'm going to do another slide instead. And there's something a little different than the circles and the logos and stuff like that. This is a little bit more subdued, gives a little more interaction, helps people pay attention to what's going on versus, oh, timer's running down, I'll come back later, right? So here is my typical weight screen. This is not the animated version, this is just the weight screen. So once you figure out your color scheme, you kind of have it going, right? So I already know my color scheme, so I'm going to just use this as my template. But I'm going to copy this slide. Well, I'm just going to make a new slide for now. So new slide, we can go to new white slide. So brand new, select it all, delete as usual. And now let's build the background. And it's the basic shapes. We do a rectangle that's about 3/4 of the space. And let's colorize that. Then the sidebar. So now that's the sidebar, and we'll make the sidebar blue for now. And now let's do that secondary color. I'm just going to copy and paste that sidebar. Drag that down. And we'll do it a little bit lighter color blue. All right, so now the things on the left-hand side are going to be space for information about today's show and your timer, right? So that text you will add in Ecamm. So for the rest of everything we do now, that left-hand side is just going to sit there. It's of no use to us right now. Now the rest of it is you figure out what your trivia question is going to be about, right? And I did some different type things today. I did my favorite superhero, what's my favorite color, which you all would know. And then an easy one, what is today, right? But I'm going to show you the 3 different animation types that I did for that. And hopefully it'll kind of give you some creative flow to think of different ways to reveal your answers, right? But how I'm going to do this one, I'm going to do basically the question, and I'm going to say wrong, 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 right. And so you just kind of pick out which one is your right answer, and that's the one that'll get the different animations. So let's just start it off. Text. And we'll do the question. And I like to go with a bold font on this. I mean, you know my usual. I go with impact a lot because it's like bold fonts. And for most of the trivia questions, I put the question itself in the middle, which I think is, I don't know, I just think that's a good idea to do it that way. And the question has a style on it usually. Now, here's some things. Because we are building fairly large videos, they're not huge, but they're fairly large. They're larger than the usual videos that we do. I try not to do a lot of enhancements, so to speak, to the text if I don't have to. So even with the drop shadow, I take the blur off of it and just make it kind of a solid type of drop shadow. Just all the little extra things that, can add to the bandwidth you need to do it, right? So here's the question. And so now we just put the four answers in. I'm typically going with 4 answers. Now you can do as many answers as you want, so that's no big deal either, right? So I'm gonna go. Now you guys can pick whatever fonts and things you want, but just like I said before, you want something bold, sans serif, right, if possible, because you want it to be easy to read. So answer number 1, copy paste. Answer 2, copy paste. Another wrong answer, and paste again. And I'll put my right answer in this bottom corner. And I'll just call it right. All right, so we have now in our action area, we have the question, and we have 3 wrong answers and 1 right answer. Now, you can change your font size and stuff like that to fit your answers better, but I think simple is best because we also don't want these trivia questions, each one, to last too long, right? We want to have something that's easy question to read, easy short answers, right? You don't want to be asking something that's really, really deep thought, takes a while to come up with something that somebody has to Google, right? We want something easy. All right, so now we do the animations. So let's click on the first thing. Here's my question. We're gonna go to animate, build in, and we're gonna build it in as a keyboard, and I don't know why they call it keyboard, but it's basically typing, right? So we're gonna build that in. Here's my question. That's good to go, and you'll see it here in the build order if you open that up, and I'll just put that over this area since we don't need it. And it will not be on click. We're gonna do after the slide comes in, and we're gonna wait, oh no, let's wait about half a second, then the question kind of comes in. So here's my question, types itself in. Then we're gonna have all the answers come in together with a dissolve. So we can actually click on all the answers. And we're gonna build those in with a dissolve. And I'm thinking, let's do these like at a half second. So they come in fairly quick. So this is the top wrong answer. Let's slide that up. And the top wrong answer will come in after the question is through typing, after about 0.3 seconds, right? And then the other answers will come in with it all together. So the first wrong answer comes in about 0.3 seconds after the question is typed in. Then all the other wrong answers and the right answer will come in with number 2. So let's go with, and let's watch that real quick. Question comes in, all the other answers fade in, right? So that's the first level of it. Now what you want to figure out is what order you want the wrong answers to disappear. And that can be random, it can be up to you. You can have them, disappear in whatever order. Now in this case, we see our right answer. So now we just basically randomly take out the wrong answers, right? So let's take the top one out first. So we're going to click on the top wrong answer. We're going to click on build out. And I think I used the fall apart, as you see here. Now you want to fall apart fairly quick because you don't want a lot of time to go by just to watch this animation, right? So let's knock that down to 0.7 and check that speed. Yeah, see, that's decent. All right, so the first wrong answer falls away fairly quick. So now let's say we want this one to fall out next. So we'll go build out, action, fall apart, 0.7. Then we'll do this one because it's obviously wrong. Build out, add effect, fall out, 0.7. Now, this question is the right answer, right? So what we want to do with this one is that we want it to move to the center of the screen and get big, right? To say, hey, this is the right answer. So for this one, for the right answer, we're going to go to action. It's not a build out. We're doing actions for this one. So add an effect. And the first thing we're going to do with it is we're going to move it. So we're going to say move. And we're going to move it basically to the center of the screen. All right. And we want that move to take, 1 second is fine. 1 second is fine. And then we're going to add an action to the move, add another action, and we're going to say scale, right? And we want to scale it up fairly big. So that's pretty big, all right? So now we have a fade and a scale, right? So you with me? Now that one's done. Now finally, what we're also going to do is we're going to make the question get small as the right answer gets big, right? So we're going to go to action on that. And we're going to go scale on that. And we're going to scale it down to 0. All right. So here's what's going to happen. The question types itself in. All the answers come in together. Wrong answers randomly disappear. The right answer moves to the center and gets big while the question gets small. So all the different parts have been done now. We just have to put them in the right order and put the timing in so it flows, right? So now this is the first wrong answer we want to fall apart. And instead of on click, we're going to say after 5. And we're going to put a delay on it so everything builds out. And then immediately the bad answers start falling away, right? So we're going to do that at 2 seconds. Right? So now the next wrong answer, we're going to have go after that wrong answer with a delay of 2 seconds. Then we're going to have the third wrong answer build out after that one, 2 second delay. And then finally, the right answer will move into the right spot quickly, right? Because everything else is gone. So we're going to have the right answer move after the step before it at 0.2 seconds, right? And then we're also going to have the scale go with it. So it's going to move and scale together. Scale with number 9, right? And then we're going to say question will be with number 9. So as it moves to the middle and gets bigger, the question gets smaller. So let's play it all out. Question types in, answers appear, wait for a second, they all start falling away. Right answer goes to the middle, right? So that's the basic animation. Let me step you through it one more time real quick, right? So we have the question and we have it keyboard type itself in. When it gets done typing in, after a little bit of a delay, we have all the answers come in together on a dissolve, right? And a pretty fast dissolve, like half a second. After they're all done, the wrong answers start falling away, right? One by one, in any order you want. So wrong, wrong, wrong. at the end of the last wrong question dropping away, after the wrong last question drops away, the right question jumps to the middle and goes big. Yes, can the correct answer stay in the center for 1 or 2 seconds? Actually, the correct answer just stays in the center. It doesn't disappear. It's disappearing now because it's just showing the animation as a preview. When it's really saved, the last thing that happened was the right answer moving in. So that's the end, right? Because it's being previewed, it's just showing you the actual physical movements. That's why I just flashed back to the beginning again. Yeah, but that right answer stays there until the slide transitions, because that's the last thing that happens. But that was a good question. So that is the first question type and first slide done. Now, as you noticed in my timer when I showed it to you all, after the question, it sits there for a while and it fades out, the next question comes in, right? So what I did with that, and here's what's cool now, right? If I copy this slide and paste it, all the questions, the questions are already there, the layout is already there, and things like that, right? You just go in, change the question, change the answers, and you can have this same animation as your trivia theme for multiple questions, right? Now, I'm going to show you a different animation, but if you want the same animation, just copy this slide, paste it, change the question, change the answers. It doesn't affect the last one, which is really cool. And you just make multiple slides. Now, here's one thing that I want you to also see. Click off of everything, and now we're going to animate the slide itself, right? So I'm going to add an effect to the slide, and I'm just going to do a dissolve. And the duration, 1.5 seconds is fine. But what I want to do is I want to do that automatically after anywhere from 8 to 10 seconds. Because here's what you want to happen. The slide comes in, the question goes through its motions, shows you the right answer, then the whole slide goes away. And then you can get a new question, right? So that's the purpose of that. And you want the slide to automatically change after a certain amount of time. Now, this question basically runs through itself in about 6 seconds, roughly, right? So setting your automatic transition of the slide to 10 seconds is fine. I think it's great. And I think it works easily for that, right? So now I'm going to show you guys how to make the other animation. So all I'm going to do now is copy this slide, copy, paste. And I just want to make sure I'm working with that next slide, right? So I'm in slide number 3 now in this situation. And now basically I move my question and I move the answers. Now, in all these situations, I just left my question coming out at that type out, same speed type of thing. You can change that animation too. I think that just having some consistency in that would be a good thing. But I wanted to show you guys a couple of other different answer reveal type animations, right? So with this one, I'm going to leave, I'm in the build order now. So I'm in the animate tab, build order, because now all these things have the same build order they had before, right? I don't want that. So click on the here's my, and so that one is fine. So you want to go down to wrong, and we're going to delete. No, we're going to keep all those. So we're going to just change the build outs. We're not going to change the build ins. We're going to change the build outs. So we're going to click until we see build out. See over here on this far right hand side, when you click these and you see build out show up, delete them. Well, if I did 18, well, it depends on your animations. If you do a lot of animations, and now if you stick with the same layout consistently over and over and over, 18 questions, you're probably averaging about, I don't know, 8-10 seconds per question. That's 180 seconds, which is 6 minutes. No. Yeah, 6 minutes. No. No. What am I thinking? 3 minutes. It just depends. A 3-minute video is not really that long. So there's a chance that you can do that and not be a hog as far as memory and things are needed. But it's possible. I would just kind of, it depends. I mean, I wouldn't necessarily do a trivia thing that lasts the complete time of your whole potential timer, because you want to set that on a rotate maybe, because people might come late, then they can see the questions again, things like that. If you start to see, like, like today, my numbers were going up of people jumping in, partially because it was scheduled, but then because they were also seeing the questions. They were like, oh, what's the next question? If you start seeing that interaction early, add more questions to keep them engaged longer, right? Instead of having just 3 questions that rotate. So it can work either way. I mean, I would test it to see how you do it. So I'm gonna go here and I'm gonna go to the build outs and I'm gonna delete them. And I'm gonna also delete the actions for those. All right, so right now I just have the here's my question and the build ends, right? So all the build ends are with each other, and we can watch these real quick too. All right, so these should all go after build 1, and these 2 will be with build 2. All right, let's do that again. Oh, okay, hold on. Let me answer this question. What if you go through again, then answer them right again, right? Does that matter? No, I mean, it's basically, it's a pre-recorded video. So, and now it depends on if you really want interaction, and if you're giving out some kind of prize or something for the right answers, just have one set of answers, right? And then, but how is that? You'd have to be in the chat to watch them put the answers in before your show begins, right? So that's extra work for you at the beginning. To me, I'm doing this as a time filler for those that will participate in my videos, so they won't get bored watching me behind the scenes on my keyboard and stuff like that. So it's basically kind of just for them to be interactive, not for me to maintain and see who got the right answers. So, I mean, but it can be that, though. It can be kind of whatever you want it to be. So that's definitely an option. All right, so wrong. All dissolve in together. Now in this one, everything will dissolve together again, then the right answer will just jump, right? So we're going to click on all the wrongs. And we're going to go to build out. And we're going to make these dissolve faster than that. Okay, so all those dissolve, right? The first one starts to dissolve after the last build in is complete. And we're going to give this about 3 seconds, right? So everything builds in, then they start dissolving. And you can change the order of these to whatever order you want, right? I'm just doing the simple animation to show you different ways to animate them. So then this one dissolves after build 6. And we're going to do that 2-second thing again. This one dissolves after build 7, and we'll kick that up to 2 seconds. All right. So now the right answer will have an action, and we'll have it bounce, right? To say, hey, that's right. All right. So this one will happen after the last one dissolves immediately, right? So now let's preview all these. This one's a little more simple than the first one. Right. And actually, I think I did a different animation for those before. Here's how you change an animation. All right, click on all of the build ins for the right and wrong answers. And we're going to go to build in change. I think I did compress. Yep, I did compress. All right, I like that one better. All right, so let's play this one more time. So this is question number 2. Here's my question. There are the answers. Then they start to dissolve. All the wrong ones dissolve, right? So that's another option for a question reveal, question and answer reveal. So now let's do the last animation, and then we'll kind of go into some Q&A of some things you all might want to kind of work through as far as doing these as a whole. And I want to show you, because as you may have noticed in mine, there was a loop, right? So I had my emoji head and the name of my show and all of that. And then I went into the questions, then I came back to that, right? Then I went into the questions and came back to that. I'm going to show you that loop also on how to do that. But now let's do the last one. So I'm just going to basically copy this slide again, copy, paste. And I am going to, because they're all here, let's just kind of leave the animation as we have it now. But now let's click on all the build-ins. So all the compress, we're going to hold down Shift and click those. And let's change this animation to, oh no, let's cube them in and see how that looks. Yeah, that's pretty cool. But what I'm going to do, this might be fun. Let's do this. So the top one, we're going to do left to right. The next one, we're going to go right to left. Then we have left to right again. Let's do right to left. That might be fun. Let's preview that. Exploring. Why not explore? Try some new stuff. That's pretty cool, huh? All right. So in this design, which is the final one, and we're not going to do the same animation. So in this final version, what we're going to do is we're going to highlight the right answer, right? So instead of dissolving any of them, we're going to go to all these build outs, select them all, we're going to delete them. Right? So we have the type in, we have them all cube in. Now, everything stays as it is, and we're just going to highlight the right answer. So now all we have to do is go over here to our list. We're going to select the right answer, copy, paste. Let's line it up. And we're going to change its color. And what I did before, because sometimes the alignment's not perfect, and it's, even though it's the exact same size font, it might not look right and stuff like that. So what I have done for mine is I'll make a colored box. So it's highlighted like that, and then I'll fill the box with a color, like that, right? So that's what I did for mine, because even though you think it's perfectly aligned, I could tell that it wasn't perfectly aligned, and it's like, so I just put another box on it. And so we have wrong, 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 right, wrong. And so now we have another right that was the copied one built in, right? And now for that build in, we're just going to have it appear. We're not going to have it do the cube thing. It's just going to flash on. And it will appear after build number 5. And we're going to give it like 5 seconds, right? Because the other ones lasted about 5 or 6 seconds with the animations dropping away, giving people time to answer. So with this one, there's no exit animations, but you want to give people the same 5 seconds as an opportunity to answer, right? So that's the purpose of it. And something weird was happening, so let me check this. Okay, so you want to give people the same amount of time to have an opportunity to answer. So let's go back here and we'll play it. There we go. All right, so that's just a real simple highlight the right answer type of thing, right? So those are the 3 question types. They all end after 10 seconds. So here's how you make a loop so you can have your standard intro logo or whatever you want go into questions, then come back. So let's do that. So I'm going to copy the first slide again, paste it, and put it on the bottom. And let's go to it. And I'm going to go here and delete all the stuff that I don't want in it, because those things will be put in Ecamm, right? And I'll go to the top one and delete all the stuff I don't want on it, because that will be put in Ecamm. Now the very first slide, I'll animate it with a dissolve, and I'm going to have it automatically after, I don't know, 1.5 seconds, right? And then the last slide doesn't have an animation, because as you know how loops go. So I'll start the video, right? So start the video with my logo there and all the text here from Ecamm, right? After 1.5 seconds, the questions start. Go through the first question. 10 seconds go by. Next question pops up. 10 seconds go by. Next question pops up. 10 seconds go by. This slide pops up, but the show is over. But it's on a loop. So then what happens? It jumps back up here. 1.5 seconds. We go through the questions again. So that's how you make that smooth transition from your logo question to question to question to question without having a jolt every time the video starts back over and your questions begin. So in essence, that is it. Hey, thank you for checking out this tutorial. Hopefully it was helpful and gave you some creative ideas to make your stream just a little more custom. If you're new here, please click that subscribe button and the bell so you will be alerted whenever I launch a new video. Leave a comment or a question, thumbs up or thumbs down. I'm cool either way, because I always respond. And who knows, maybe one of your questions or comments will become the subject of my next video. If you want a little head start building your own graphics, drop by my Gumroad page for downloads. So, until next time, I am Bradley Vincent, Alana's Pawpaw. Be blessed, be free. See y'all soon.